the Gen Zs are the future of this nation. We are the future of this country. And, you know, we can't have a country without people, you know. And from the look of things, we've lost so many young lives. And I really don't think we are ready to lose other more lives in future. So I think it's high time we adopt other means of you know, addressing this issue rather than, you know, running into streets and, you know, losing lives every day. Because again, we've seen what has happened up to now. And as brave as we might look, no one really wants to die anyway. Because if right now a gun would be pointed at my head and then I'm told to, you know, act on such and such a manner just to, you know, run from or rather
just to survive,
then I think that's the option I'd be left with. Yeah, I'd rather, you know, surrender and keep my life than, you know, act brave and lose it.
So you're saying that the younger Kenyans should entertain this idea by the former Prime Minister, national intergenerational conclave?
Of course, yes, if need be. But again, I think the government itself really needs to, you know, kind of like try and loosen things a bit just to make it easy for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
JB, Raila Odinga and the politicians as a whole have been accused of hijacking such movements like the Gen Z. And Raila's proposal has been criticized along that same line, that probably this is just another politician trying to hijack this process, alafu politicians wataenda huko juu wagawe vitu zao, alafu vijana wataachwe nje. Do you think the Gen Zs are willing to entertain that proposal by the former Prime Minister?
The Gen Zs are not willing to entertain that thought because the leopard does not change its spots. They hijacked it last year and they brought to us broad-based government. Broad-based government has not solved anything that the Gen Z wanted. Many a times, history will judge us right. Many a times, we see these dialogues, they don't materialize to anything. For example, the 2017 handshake, it materialized to BBI. The BBI was flawed by the courts. It was unconstitutional. So the 2017 handshake, it was void. It did not materialize on anything. This broad-based government, when Raila joined the so-called government, when he was bringing the experts to the table, he didn't bring the youth. We didn't see the Gen Zs. For example, I know they can now use the phrase that we don't have a leader, so that we bring them into on the table. We propped up some leaders, then they were taken. For example, there were promising leaders like, for example, Kasmuel, like Morara, but right now they have been absorbed into the major parties that we are fighting against. We are partyless, and now they have declared that they are going to this party. We understand also in Africa, there has been that challenge. For example, if we go to South Africa and Malema's party has like 14 MPs, and this year alone, 5 MPs have resigned to join another party. You see, hunger is African. Yes.
Hunger is real.
Hunger is real. So we are looking in a way that we are looking for solutions that can end. We can have our agenda solved, but not people getting murdered. For example, most recourse is maybe demonstration, picketing, and strike. We can now choose the strike, not going to work. Now that's why we are calling into the millennials. Now come and join and let's strike.
Okay, so still the streets.
Yes.
What about you?
I just want to add something in terms of the so-called dialogue. Let me ask you, Ferdinand. the politicians or the president himself. Ajui shida za these Kenyans are going through. I have seen the churches in terms of the different umbrella bodies, even going to State House, even telling him, even on media, provide job opportunities for these young people. The new funding model is not working. Which kind of dialogue again does he want with the young people?
Probably to break the ice, I don't know. Do you think that this is something that the young generation should entertain the thought that a national intergenerational and underline intergenerational conclave is something so that people from one generation and the other come and say, okay, fine, this is where the disconnect is?
So, first of all, I'd like to respond to him. He asked if the government does not know what the youths want. The other day, the deputy spokesperson of the government, she was interviewed at Radio 47. She was asked, does the government know what the youths want? She bravely said, yes, we know. But the question comes here, are they willing to listen to us? Are they willing to adopt the solutions and the methodologies that we are having to these challenges? I think it is an intergenerational gap between what us we want and what our parents or the other generations feel should be solved. First of all, they need to understand that the generation we are living, it's not the generation that they were brought up in. As we are living under the new constitution, some of us were born during Maziwa Yanya, like the Kibaki era, not even the Moi era. The Kibaki, we've just witnessed the Kibaki and Uhuru government. And the set books that we read in high schools, it brings a lot of fire in ourselves. Now they need to understand that the generation that they came from or they were raised when they were youth, it's not the same as ours. They need to understand us, not just to listen. There's a term we say, when there's participation, there's representation, there's impact, there's change. Like you can just, yes, we can be brought yes to the table, but our views are being heard. Am I representing the youth or am I representing myself? What impact am I going to bring to the youth? So I feel yes, we can have the dialogue, but not like the dialogue on the issues that we have, on the solutions. The government already knows the issues. So why should we come back again and talk about the issues? The issues were raised at the NADCO report. How many were implemented? So the government already knows, but they are not willing to implement the solutions. I think we need to come to a point of convergence, where with the government and the young people converge, and we say these are the issues we all know. Now we don't have to talk about the issues. No, we need to provide solutions, and the solutions should be timely. See, to say we shall implement this after 2 years. There are solutions that we can, even kesho, we can be okay. Like telling the police, do not shoot people when they're going to protest. That is okay. Mfunge na umpeleke rather than shoot to kill. So the government already understands. Coming now to the intergenerational conclave, I'm under an umbrella called the AXAP. It deals with the student association within 47 counties. The other day we had a press, we were talking about we need intergenerational dialogue, and the other day our executive went and met with the CS of Youth Affairs, Salim Vuria. But now the conversation that we need to have an authentic conversation. We need not to be manipulated by the people we are with. Like, for example, me, I know this person, and once you're at the table with the president or with the Ministry of Youth or whichever person who shall be a stakeholder in the conversation, when they say I think we need to be authentic to ourselves. In as much as the conversation will happen, it needs not to be generic. The conversation needs to be like the voice of every youth. It's the voice what Chesang feels. I think also they should open a space, even if the dialogue is going to happen, they should open a space of more views for people who will not be on that on the dialogue part, like a stakeholder. I think we need to have where we can all share our views. In fact, I feel they should also organize intergenerational dialogue in our sub-counties or even in our wards. Because the challenge that I'm facing in Timboro is not the same challenge someone is facing in Nairobi. So how I treat my MP is not the same way someone from Nairobi will view their MP. Maybe the MP is bringing bursaries, CDF on time and stuff, but mimi wangu kuona ni ngumu kidogo. So I feel also the dialogue should not be just on the national aspect. We need to go deep to the roots and understand where understand what we all need and the solutions that we can all provide.
Okay. Lois, there are those who say that if Raila Odinga was genuine, he should have called for this dialogue last year before forming the broad-based government. Do you feel that probably this time round it's just a call to try and pacify the young Kenyans to buy time for the political class?
The need of a dialogue, I'm not really sure if the youths are really into it. I don't think the most youths are into it because it was called in last year and most of the people were like, sasa wanatuita kwa nini? Si wanajua like what are the needs of the Kenyans. But at this point, I feel like maybe we should come together and talk about the solutions, as she has said, not just the issues, because everyone knows the issues that are in Kenya about the hospitals. Maybe they're not working, there are no beds in hospitals, in schools, kitu kama hizo. So I feel I'm not really sure if it's gonna be a thing to pass time, just to pass time, but I know that maybe it can bring in some changes. It can bring in some changes. Maybe we can be heard. Yeah.
But Louis, talking about Raila Odinga, and I can see none of the dailies are even talking about him running for president come 2027. But we've seen headlines that have described him as a betrayer of the movement. Then now he's the one coming to call for dialogue. Do you trust his genuineness on this matter?
First of all, Ferdinand, our parents and their generation, they know Raila Odinga as a person who fought for multipartyism, that is a patriot, such narratives. But the 70% of the young people, they know Raila of one thing that he did last year when they were on the streets trying to fight for good governance, accountability. Raila came in between the handshake with the president. In terms of whatever the young people were agitating for, he hijacked their plan, their vision, and their dream by the handshake and him bringing his lieutenants into the government. The young people were not on they were not peacefully demonstrating for him to come into the government and for him to bring his people. They had some demands. Those demands up to now, they have never been met. So I think that will be the last thing for him to do. He has tried that once, twice, even the AU position, but unfortunately he did not get it. I think in terms of his age, I think that will be the last thing for him to do. Because the young people, they want to change. Mm-hmm. And this change comes in when the young people now, because he has been the person in terms of, he has been one of those guys in the government over and over, up to now. And this is my own sentiment. Me, I view Raila Odinga as the one second in command. Those are my own sentiments, not your sentiments or theirs. But me, I see him as the person who was the stakeholders in the government when he brought up his own lieutenant. So him vying for the presidency, that will be the last thing for him.
What about his genuineness in calling for the conclave?
That one is all about buying time. Mm-hmm. That one is all about buying time in terms of trying to calm the tension, so that at least for him, he just want to buy time so that he enjoys those benefits in government. Because actually, in terms of the reason as to why I doubt the genuineness of that, even the president himself came to space last year. He came to space, and then he went to Kisumu again for a town hall in Kisumu. So it's a dialogue and that narrative. They know the problem. What is lacking is goodwill.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mike, going forward, because now probably the only other option is to wait and change the leaders, the elected leaders come 2027. And the IEBC, the swearing in may happen anytime soon because they've been gazetted. But you think there's enough time for the young Kenyans to come up with a new leadership away from the political class that we're used to? Because will you sustain being partyless, leaderless, and tribeless and still make impact at the next election?
I think